I've ranked the 10 deadliest fighter pilots of World War II by how dangerous they actually were, not just their kill counts. Some of these guys shot down hundreds of planes, some pulled off escapes you'd only expect in movies, and one even flew solo because he couldn't stand anyone else. Eric Hartmann sits at the top of the all-time scoreboard, 352 confirmed kills. He was known as the Blonde Knight to his friends, the Black Devil to his enemies. The crazy part is, his mom was one of Germany's first female pilots and taught him to fly as a kid. By 14, he was already teaching others how to glide. He got his license at 17. When he went to war, he had this technique: stalk your enemy, get as close as you possibly can, about 66 yards, before even thinking about firing. As a result, nearly every shot counted. He never actually got shot down, but after mid-air collisions, he did have to crash land several times. After the war, the Soviets kept him in a prison camp for a decade. He finally made it home and lived out his life, dying in 1993 at age 71. The Star of Africa wasn't just a killer pilot, although he did have 158 confirmed kills. Most of them were against British and American fighters, which were generally tougher opposition than the average Luftwaffe pilot faced on the Eastern Front. Marseille was also a real character. French roots, a love for nightlife, and so hard to manage that they eventually shipped him off to North Africa. In combat, he'd do the unexpected. He'd dive right into enemy formations, slow down, turn tighter than anybody else, and basically start ripping enemy planes apart from inside their own formation. It was all skill and nerve. His luck ran out in 1942 when he died bailing out of a damaged plane. This one isn't as well known, but he's number 2 on the all-time kill list with 300 victories. He worked the Eastern Front developing insane target-leading skills, and once he started running up the numbers, the Soviets even put a price on his head, especially after he shot down Nikolai Klepikov, a hero of the Soviet Union. Barkhorn dealt with anxiety through the whole war, bounced between assignments, but he just kept going. In 1944, he got one of Germany's highest awards. Later, he stood as Eric Hartmann's best man at his wedding. He lived long after the war ended and died in a car crash in 1983. George is Canada's answer to the lone wolf fighter ace. 31 kills and a reputation for being completely focused. Didn't party, didn't smoke, just lived to fly and fight. He obsessed over ballistics and had freakish eyesight. In the air, he was a problem nobody wanted. If he got on your tail, he wasn't coming off. He shot down German and Italian fighters in every theater he served. Survived the war, but died in a transport crash later. Soviet pilot Ivan Kozhedub was the Allies' top scorer, 62 confirmed kills in 120 air battles. He flew the Lavochkin LA-7, a beast of a plane with serious speed, and earned the nickname Ivan the Terrible, like that Russian Tsar. His thing was marksmanship, taking down planes from long range, sometimes even nailing German jet fighters out of the sky. He won the Hero of the Soviet Union award 3 times, stayed in the Russian Air Force until 1985, and even fought in Korea later, this time against his old Western allies. Richard Bong was the top U.S. Air Force ace, 40 confirmed kills against Japan, all of them in the Lockheed P-38 Lightning. He was the deadliest twin-engine pilot in history. The Lightning itself was a beast. Those machine guns shredded enemy planes, and Bong put them to full use across the Pacific. What's interesting about Bong is he wasn't actually that great with the guns. His marksmanship was just average. What he did instead was fly insanely close. So close to enemy planes that sometimes he was practically scraping paint before opening fire. It worked. Most of his kills were these up-close fly-by shootings. Once he even slammed right through another plane instead of just shooting it down. Bong survived the war, but his luck ran out after. He died in a jet crash in 1945. Over in the Pacific, Hiroyoshi Nishizawa flew for Japan and might have been the Imperial Navy's highest-scoring ace with 87 aerial victories. 4 years, all kinds of targets, all from the cockpit of a Zero. Nishizawa had this wild side. At one point, he pulled aerobatics with 2 wingmen over an enemy airfield, and the U.S. Navy literally sent him a note, saying, "Come back for the rest of the party." His flying style was unpredictable, high G-force, random maneuvers that nobody in Japanese air combat had ever seen before. He never got shot down in a dogfight. Instead, his story ends with a transport bomber getting shot out from under him. Germany's Kurt Welter wasn't just another ace, he was the top-scoring jet pilot of the war. 63 confirmed kills, and a huge chunk of them came flying the Messerschmitt Me-262, the world's first operational jet fighter. Welter made history as the first jet pilot to fly night missions. Imagine flying across the sky at over 700 kilometers per hour, in total darkness, knocking bombers out of the air before they even realize what's happening. The British Mosquitoes, those legendary twin-engine night fighters, became his specialty. He took down more than a few of them. Welter survived the war and picked up both the Iron Cross and the German Gold Cross for his record. If you look at the Royal Air Force, nobody outscored Johnny Johnson. 34 kills, plus some shared, all flying the iconic Supermarine Spitfire. Johnson had a mix of sharp handling, great shooting, and real discipline. He'd force enemy pilots into bad positions, then single out and pick off his targets one by one. He also paid attention to the engineering, always analyzing situations instead of charging in blind. The guy overcame personal injury to even join the Royal Air Force, and in the end, he survived the war and lived to 85. During the Battle of Britain, you had all these foreign pilots flying with the Royal Air Force, and Czech Sergeant Josef František was the wild card among them. He escaped Romania, flew with the French, and finally ended up in Britain. He was so independent, always breaking off to hunt solo, that the Royal Air Force basically just gave him his own Hurricane and let him do his thing. He became the top-scoring Allied ace in the Battle of Britain, with 17 kills, often hitting German fighters as they tried to limp home across the Channel. 17 victories, all in just a year. He didn't get shot down, but he crashed while performing aerobatics in 1940, maybe trying to impress his girlfriend, maybe just pushed past exhaustion.